What's up, everyone? I know I look a little bit like, I don't know, Mr. Potato Head or one of those people that's wearing the little disguise costume, glasses, and mustache, but no, this is just who I am. I wanted to start this series basically going through, we're 450 some days, I don't know why I'm pretending I don't know, 456 days into, leaving the jobs. This is over a year now, a year and a couple of months, going into music, freelancing and things full time to help pay the bills. I wanted to start a series. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube that is kind of teaching from a more abstract standpoint about this is what you need as a music artist need to do. But a lot of those people are making, a lot of them are have good points, but they're also making their own brand and money off of teaching how to do something and not always being in the midst of it. There are people who are and who have really great channels, but I also think maybe it could be useful. I would have kind of almost liked to see someone on the journey in it only maybe a year or two ahead of where I was. What does that realistically look like? What are they actually doing from day to day, not just looking into a camera and saying this is what you should be doing day to day because this is kind of like what I did 5 years ago or something like that. Or maybe they never did it, worst case scenario. Point is, I wanted to start doing these regularly every week or two, checking in. As someone trying to pursue music full time, what am I doing? How am I spending my time? How am I spending what budget I have? How am I making sure I have any kind of budget? That kind of thing. So, first things I just wanted to go over, that's kind of how it's going to be for these, and if you guys have something specific you want to hear about, let me know. I wanted to go over some of kind of the daily priorities from me at this stage. Biggest thing for me right now is booking live shows. So last year I did a whole thing where I was streaming on Twitch about 5 days a week, making lots of songs. We made over 200 demos and uploaded them to SoundCloud, and that was a great branding and networking and friend making and fan making move for me, and it was unique and it was fun, and it's been really good, and I got a lot of opportunities from it. At the same time, I was hitting a bit of a plateau where I was at this place where I needed to decide if I was going to be a streamer who makes music or a music artist who happens to do that on the side. And of course, my priority is to make music. So I've backed off a little bit from that. I'm still doing some of it, but now rather than just getting so deep in the promo stuff, I'm more in the grit of as many live shows as I can, as many features and working with other artists that I like as I can. Genuine things, not where one of us is paying to put me on your song, only cost you this much, something like that, but real collaborations with other people, usually similar size, small followings to get on Spotify with and do different shows with, etc. Speaking of Spotify, another priority is regular releasing of music for me right now. I can definitely see the effect of even getting on a few small playlists. I'm at about 600 and some monthly listeners on Spotify, and that's been held steadily going up from the high 400s to 600 something now over the last couple months. And that's, this time last year, barely had anything. And so I spent a lot of the first part of last year at nothing, 100, sometimes 200 max. So those playlists are definitely a help. Even smaller playlists you can get your songs on. So that's a priority for me as well. Keep releasing music on Spotify, on every platform, but also with Spotify specifically looking for playlist curation and trying to get my tracks more and more places there. And I'm kind of brushing through, kind of just taking a broad stroke of a lot of this, but I want to dig down for specific videos, so maybe in a week it'll be a specific video on things that have worked and haven't worked for promo, or a specific video on reaching out for live shows, my experience with that so far, what's worked, what hasn't, etc. But let's kind of keep going through the kind of bullet points I had here. Financial overview for people wondering. So I had saved a couple $1,000s, or a few thousand from my job before I left. And my girl, as that was, getting low 6-8 months in, my girlfriend and I talked about division of bills. And I'm lucky to have an amazing girlfriend, who contributes a ton. And then for my own expenses, my bills, I still every month coming in have plenty of bills that I need to cover. Credit cards, student loans, promo stuff for music, of course. There's lots of stuff like that. And the way I'm kind of navigating that right now is I freelance doing music for work for other people, sometimes mixing and engineering, and then also voiceover work. I figured I have a studio, I have microphones, why not do that? So I started getting into doing some voiceover stuff, and those freelance things have helped me stay afloat. So different people, you have different things going on in your life. I feel extremely lucky to be in the situation that I'm in, and I don't take it for granted. I understand that people are at different places. To be 100% honest with you, this far in, I think it would have been smart if I would have been at a job that I could have stomached for longer. I really should have. I would suggest people continue working part-time. I think maybe the perfect balance would be have a little bit of something just so you can take just enough to live off of, have that income. And it especially depends how entrepreneurial you are. You know, for me, I'd done freelancing before as a teenager, young adult, so I had a good idea. Okay, I know I can find gigs on Upwork. I know how to network with people through Reddit to get work. So those things have contributed. But if you know, I wasn't doing this as a team effort with my partner, or I was not experienced in getting those types of gigs, then I probably would have continued to work or transitioned to a job that was more part-time. The reason that wasn't an option for me is at the time I was on here in Sweden on a work visa. Long story, but basically you can only work for the employer you're at for the specified work contract. So it was either 45, 50 hours a week full-time in a job I was really not about, or it was the only way for me to legally work then was leave the country, go somewhere else. And so anyways, it was a black or white scenario for me, and I can get into that another time if people have questions. Yeah, what's on the table for me right now, the kind of priorities I was talking about earlier. I have a live show coming up on the 16th here in Stockholm. I'm really excited about. That'll be a full 35 minute set. Lots and lots of open mics. Go to everything you can, network with people. That's how a lot of these things have come about for me, the things that have gone well. And then I have a new single on Valentine's Day coming out on Spotify. It's more kind of poppy and some electronic elements that I normally work with, usually more in the hip hop side of things, but I'm really excited for it. It turned out really well. I did all the mixing, mastering, tracking the vocals and stuff myself, so I'm excited about that. That's basically what I've got for you. I was thinking about going into some marketing and promo techniques in the next video, but let me know what might be useful for you guys to hear about in this. If you were kind of like following someone and you say, okay, here's someone who's about a year into the journey of trying to make it. What does their daily schedule look like, or what do they do in this area or that area, or what do they focus on? What should they not focus on? So far in my experience, I'm only as far as I am, but this is really about kind of just documenting the journey. It's not to prove anything to you guys. It's very honest. I'm not pretending I'm making tons of money. I'm not pretending that I don't have help, but I hope you guys get something from it. And leave a comment. Let me know what you'd like to hear about in the future. Thank you very much. Peace. Potato Head out.